My character's Joan. She's in college where she meets middle Allison. And that's at the portion of the show where middle Allison is still trying to figure out who she is. So my character, Joan, she's deaf. And she uses sign language. And when she meets this beautiful, cute Allison, she's very interested in her. And middle Allison is an artist, so that's even more fascinating for Joan. And they communicate using sign language so that Joan can help Allison figure out more of who she is, and helps Allison on her journey throughout college.
I don't know. Refine.
This is my second time working with Lyric. My first time was in Fiddler on the Roof as Hodel. It was amazing working with Lyric for the first time. They're very open-minded and very inclusive. And it was something new. They weren't scared to work with a deaf actress. Yeah. It was an amazing journey working with Lyric. They asked me to join Fun Home. I was extremely enthusiastic and told them yes. I've always wanted to work with them. They're an amazing theater, and they're a great theater to follow. They're very inclusive and make their characters people of all different walks of life, and Lyric is a great example for that. I feel like I'm just another artist, and I'm working with people who are very open-minded. So when I joined the show, they all knew that I was deaf, and they knew what they were signing up for. It's not really a challenge then, no. Every day we communicate, and it's fantastic. I love dancing and I love music. I can't hear it, so I find different ways using my hands to express the dance and match. I practice and I memorize it, and I have people who help me succeed. And sometimes there are different cues, like lights that come on and off, that let me know when to start dancing. But it really comes down to practice and working as a team with others. There's something about musical theater that can't compare to other shows. When you see a musical, you can see in their eyes, their hearts, just everything comes right out of their hearts. And sometimes people need that. They need to see and absorb that sort of theater. It can really change people's world to see people singing their heart out. And you can see the change in all people. Even more with their expressions and their hands and their bodies. And when they sing, with deaf people, it's in expressions. It's all in your body and your movements. So it gives me chills and goosebumps just seeing musical theater and people performing. My hope is for them to see that there's no difference. Seriously, between hearing and deaf, speaking and signing, it's really the same. I'm just another actor looking for an equal experience. I'm just not hearing, that's it. I grew up as an actor already, but I remember growing up feeling scared because I don't speak, and I thought I really would need to speak. But when I figured out that I could use my language and that I can bring my own language to theater, it's really encouraging, and I want to encourage other deaf individuals to join theater. I want them to see that they can and not think that they can't. If you want to be an actor, go for it. You can write and you can use sign language or any ways to communicate, whatever. There's a lot of opportunities. Yeah, there's no limits.
Talk to us a little bit about working with Sandra Mae Frank in Fun Home.
Sure. This is the second time we worked together. We did Fiddler on the Roof 2 summers ago. And at that point, she came into the process because one of my former students, when I taught at Holy Cross College, was deaf. And I brought him to the process, into the show, and she came as well later throughout audition. we of course fell in love with each other. She's so fun to work with, and we decided to work on Fun Home together. The difference with this project and working on this play is that we got a grant from the National Endowment for the Arts, as well as the National Alliance for Musical Theater, to incorporate ASL, to record the process, to give funding for not only myself and the choreographer to learn sign language, but also for our technical director and the entire staff at Lyric. So myself and Matthew Cypress, who's the choreographer, and Don Drake, our technical director, we took classes at OCCC in the evenings since January. And then the entire staff has been taking sign language classes on Fridays here at Lyric. And that teacher is deaf herself. Her name is Rachel Hollis. So before Sandra even got here this time, we had months of ASL training. So my goal was that wherever Sandra went, the staff, myself, some of the cast, if they can make it to the classes, could communicate with her without an interpreter. And in fact, we've had many rehearsals where there wasn't an interpreter, where her and I were able to rehearse just fine. Matthew certainly just fine. It's been amazing. I mean, right from the meet and greet, which is our first rehearsal, the entire staff not only introduced themselves by signing their name, but also could sign their actual job duties. So for example, I'm a director of theater, and all of that was brand new, so that we really could stay connected with Sandra and not rely on the interpreter. And that translated all throughout the rehearsal process. I think it's required the cast to work together more, because when she's backstage, we have to give her clues, the rest of the cast, on what part of the show we're at and when she needs to do her entrance. But when she's on stage, she's such a rock star anyway, and I think everyone that gets to do a scene with her is super excited.
So philosophically, why do you want here at Lyric to bring in a deaf actress and to add that as part of the show?
Well, you know, Lyric's mission, of course, is that we are here for all Oklahomans, and that includes our deaf community as well. And aside from inclusion of the deaf community here, I think it, particularly with musical theater, just adds another beautiful physical element, a way of telling a story that's new and fresh. The idea is that we are not just welcoming the deaf community for one show, but getting them excited about everything Lyric does, and hopefully make them know that they're welcome here for all of our shows, and that it's our goal for many of them to bring deaf actors into the process as well.